At 58, Johnny Gill just confirmed everything by revealing some scandalous secret. Okay, so New Edition. Just hearing the name brings back memories of chart-topping hits. But behind the scenes, it was anything but picture perfect. From tensions of Johnny Gill taking over Bobby's brown spot in the group, to fight over who had the right to use the name New Edition. I mean, friendships were tested, courtroom battles, and serious addiction with cocaine and other substances. No one individual can use the name that will always be us collectively. It's a story just as dramatic as the music itself. And right at the heart of it, Johnny Gill. Let's get into it. Johnny Gill loved music from a young age. Your dad is a Baptist minister. Yeah. And there's four boys? Four boys. He started by singing gospel songs in church. His family was very religious, and they listened to gospel music all the time. My dad was a minister, so we grew up in sort of a strict household. But as Johnny grew older, he started to like other kinds of music too. He wanted to explore different sounds. When he went to Sousa Junior High, he joined the Glee Club. He loved singing with the group, and he met an old friend there. Her name was Stacy Latisaw. Because she was a part of my career and getting me started, we dated. Stacy Latisaw was already making music professionally. She had a record deal with Atlantic Records. She had been singing for the label since she was 14 years old. She believed Johnny had a great voice. She kept encouraging him to send a demo tape to Atlantic Records. At first, Johnny was not sure. He did not know if he was ready. But Stacy kept pushing him. Finally, he sent the tape. The people at Atlantic Records liked Johnny's voice. They offered him a deal when he was only 16 years old. Johnny did not feel that Atlantic Records knew how to promote him properly. They mostly wanted him to sing slow love songs or sing with Stacy. Johnny felt he had more to offer. He wanted to show people that he could do other kinds of music too. He wanted to be seen as more than just a duet partner. In 1988, MCA Records bought out Johnny's contract from Atlantic. He started working with famous producers L.A. Reid and Babyface. They were making a solo album for him. But before he could finish it, something unexpected happened. The group New Edition asked Johnny to join them. At that time, the group's original member, Bobby Brown, had left. The other members needed someone new to take his place. They wanted Johnny, not in a very good space and place, and obviously you could see it. You could see it every night. This change was not easy. The group had problems, and some people thought Johnny and Bobby had issues with each other. There were even rumors that they fought, but Johnny said that was not true. He shared that Bobby used to visit him at his house in Los Angeles. And the craziest thing is Bobby used to come over to my crib. When he would come to LA, they were on good terms. People said Johnny took Bobby's place, but Bobby never had a problem with him. Instead, Bobby admitted that he was jealous, but also respected Johnny's singing. Bobby told me he was like, "Man, I was so jealous of you, envious and jealous of you." Johnny explained that he never had any issues with Bobby or Ralph Tresvant, another member of the group. When Johnny joined, Ralph thought about leaving, but their bond helped him stay. Johnny said the way their friendship grew in the New Edition story movie was mostly true. He also shared that Ralph was his closest friend in the group. When asked who he would share a bus with on tour, Johnny said Ralph was his ride or die and his road dog. Johnny also spoke about the BET movie, the New Edition story. He said the film got some things wrong, especially about him and Bobby. One scene showed how they recorded the song, "Can You Stand the Rain?" In the movie, all the members sang together in the studio. But Johnny said that was not how it really happened. He explained that he recorded his parts first, then did ad-libs, and the others recorded later. The process was different from what was shown in the movie. Johnny did not complain about the movie, but wanted people to know the truth. He said it did not matter how the recording was done. What mattered was that he gave his best when he joined the group. My lawyer might have called me and said, "Hey, do you know anybody that owns a name?" Johnny and Ralph Tresvant owned the trademark for the name, New Edition. This caused a big problem when the other members, Ronnie DeVoe, Bobby Brown, Ricky Bell, and Mike Bivens, decided to form a new group called RBRM. They wanted to perform without Gill and Tresfant, but still use the New Edition name. This led to a fight over who had the right to use the name. "Let's do an agreement amongst all 6 of us, so no one individual." The RBRM members went on a radio show called The Breakfast Club to talk about their tour. They also spoke about the problem with the name. Ronnie DeVoe said that the issue was not just about who owned the name, but also about disagreements among the members. That was why all 6 of them were not together. Mike Bivens explained why he and the other 3 members did not own the name. He said it was just a mistake. He said their old manager, Brooke Payne, gave them a paper with the name on it, and they thought that was enough. He also said they were trying to fix the problem. Bivens did not want to argue about the name because, in his mind, all the members helped build New Edition. He believed they would work things out because they always did. "I focused on so much other stuff that I don't think people even realized as important as it was. It was just the opposite." Johnny Gill, however, did not agree with what they were saying. He was on vacation when he heard about the things his bandmates said. People started sending him messages, so he decided to speak up. Gill said that he and Ralph never tried to take the name away from the other members. He said they only wanted to make sure that no one would use the name alone. They wanted the name to belong to the whole group, not just 1 or 2 people. No one individual can use the name. They will always be us collectively. Gill explained that he and Tresfant suggested making a legal agreement. This agreement would make sure that the name New Edition was only used when all 6 members were together. This way, there would be no confusion with different groups using the same name. He said it was about respect and protecting the group's legacy. Gill also accused the RBRM members of hiring lawyers to fight over the trademark. He said this was disrespectful to the history of New Edition. He was upset that they took the matter to social media instead of talking about it privately. He believed that such issues should be handled within the group. After expressing his feelings, Gill said he would not speak about the issue again. He was tired of the drama. He called out his bandmates for lying and manipulating the situation. He said, "This is my first and last time addressing the nonsense, the deceit, the manipulation, and more importantly, the lies. God bless." Having the same goals but feeling like they have different ways. Everybody's got their different style of how they do things. Fans reacted differently to his message. Some supported Gill and said he handled the situation well. Others were upset that he and Tresfant owned the name since they were not original members from the very beginning. Some fans were disappointed because they expected all 6 members to perform together after the success of their biopic. The fight over the name showed how deep the issues were within New Edition. Even though the members had been together for many years, their disagreements over business matters caused them to split. Many fans hoped they would work things out, but at that time, it did not seem like an easy fix. The situation left New Edition divided, with one side performing as RBRM and the other side holding on to the group's name. While fans wanted a full reunion, the legal battle over the name made it clear that the group was not on the same page. It was a sad moment for fans who had followed New Edition for years. They wanted to see their favorite group together again, but the trademark fight made that difficult. New Edition was one of the biggest R&B groups in history, but behind the fame, they had many problems. Over the years, there were fights between the members about money, decisions, and personal issues. Sometimes they could not agree on how the group should be managed. These problems made it hard for them to stay together and affected how the public saw them. Johnny Gill talked about these problems and admitted that there were tough times, but he also said that no matter what, the group still had a strong bond. Even when they had disagreements, they always found a way to come back together. One of the biggest secrets that came out in the New Edition biopic was Ricky Bell's drug problems. Everyone knew about Bobby Brown's struggles with drugs, But Ricky's addiction was not known by the public. The film revealed that Ricky had a serious problem with cocaine and other substances. Johnny Gill later talked about how bad things got for Ricky. He said that at one point they had someone stay with Ricky to help him. Ricky was struggling, but he wanted to get better. He did not want to live that way anymore. Johnny said he gave Ricky advice, telling him that quitting drugs is like a baby learning to walk. A baby falls many times, but it keeps trying until it can stand. He told Ricky that if he kept pushing himself, one day he would stand up and be free from addiction. Ricky wanted to change, and that was the most important thing. It took me probably 16 years. Johnny also talked about how he felt about the way the movie showed his life. He was mostly happy with how he was portrayed, but there was something that bothered him. In the film, the other members' families were shown. Mothers, brothers, and sisters. But Johnny's family was missing. He felt like he just appeared in the group like magic, with no background. This made him upset because he had a family too, and his story mattered. He said that at one point, the producers thought about showing his life in Washington, D.C., but they never did. This made him feel left out. His mother was sick during the filming, which made things even harder for him. But despite these feelings, he still liked the way he was shown in the movie. There were also rumors about fights between Johnny and other members of the group. Some people said he had big problems with Bobby Brown and Ralph Tresfant, but Johnny said that these stories were exaggerated. He admitted that they had disagreements, but they were not as serious as people thought. However, he did say that he and Michael Bivins had some real issues. He and Michael recently had a long conversation to fix their problems. Michael had also talked about his own struggles with some of the other group members. Johnny said that Michael Bivins did not get the credit he deserved for his business skills. He believed that Michael should be seen as one of the top businessmen in the music industry, like Jay-Z, Diddy, and Jermaine Dupri. Michael helped build talent and make deals, but many people did not recognize his work. When it came to money, Johnny said he never struggled financially. He made smart choices and lived in million-dollar homes that came from New Edition's success. But he noticed something strange. Many times in group photos and artwork, he was in the background. He found it funny because, in reality, he might be the most financially successful member of the group. Even though he was sometimes overlooked, he knew his worth and was proud of what he had achieved. In 2003, Johnny Gill released the second LSG album, LSG 2. The album reached number 6 on the Billboard charts. Even though it did not do as well as the first album, it was still a success. It went platinum, which meant it sold over 1 million copies. However, this ended up being the last LSG album. Johnny explained that all the members had solo careers to focus on. Keith Sweat had to return to his own work. Gerald Levert had his projects. And Johnny had many things going on as well. At one point, New Edition left their record label, MCA, and signed with Bad Boy Records. They released their 7th album, One Love. Puffy, also known as P. Diddy, was heavily involved in making this album. The song Hot Tonight became popular, but the group was not happy with the overall album. The process of making the album was difficult. Bobby Brown was not in the group at that time. Some members thought working with Puffy would be good for them, but Johnny had a different opinion. Johnny already knew Puffy before the other members of New Edition did. He had met him many years before. He even invited Puffy to a boxing match. This was the first time Puffy had ever been on a private jet. Johnny remembered watching Puffy looking around the jet, amazed by the experience. At that time, Puffy was new to that lifestyle. But later on, he only traveled by private jets. Johnny jokingly said that Puffy owed him for introducing him to that experience. However, while working on the album, Johnny and Puffy argued a lot. They had a big disagreement in front of everyone. After the argument, Puffy called Johnny at his hotel. Puffy told Johnny that he felt embarrassed about how they had argued in front of people. He reminded Johnny that they had known each other longer than the other group members. They had a long talk about their issues. Johnny explained to Puffy that music was their business. It was not just about having fun. It was how they made a living and supported their families. He told Puffy that the group did not feel respected during the process of making the album. He said that when something affects their ability to take care of their families, it becomes personal. After their conversation, Johnny and Puffy understood each other better. They tried to move forward and finish recording the album. However, they were still unsure if things would work out. Being signed to Bad Boy Records meant they were in Puffy's world. Everything in that label was centered around Puffy, and it became clear that their music was not the top priority. Looking back, Johnny acknowledged that Puffy gave them an opportunity. Even though things did not work out, he was grateful that Puffy believed in them and tried to help. At the time, New Edition was in a difficult situation with MCA Records. Puffy took an interest in them and gave them a chance to restart their career. Johnny learned a lot from New Edition. Before joining the group, he was mostly known for singing slow songs. He stood in one place on stage. But New Edition was different. They danced a lot and had exciting performances. Johnny had to learn how to move on stage. He had to learn how to entertain a crowd. It was a big change for him, but he worked hard and he improved. He became a better performer because of it. When Johnny joined New Edition, he made a deal with them. He told them he still wanted to have a solo career. He would sing with the group, but he would also release his own music. The other members agreed. This was important because, at that time, many of them were also planning solo careers. Bobby Brown had already left and became very successful on his own. Ralph Tresvant was working on his solo album too. Other members, like Belle Biv DeVoe, formed their own group. Their album Poison became very popular. Even though they were all doing their own things, they still supported each other. Johnny was not worried about putting his solo plans on hold. He believed joining New Edition would help him in the long run. The group already had a big fan base. By joining them, Johnny could reach more people. He saw it as a win-win situation. He knew that once he started his solo career again, more people would know his name. He had confidence in himself. When Johnny finally released his solo album, he wanted to prove something. People knew he could sing slow songs, but he wanted to show that he could do upbeat music too. That's why he worked with Jam and Lewis, two famous producers. They helped him make fast songs that people could dance to. He also worked with L.A. Reid and Babyface to make the slower, romantic songs. This gave his album a good balance. He showed two sides of himself. One side was soft and romantic. The other side was full of energy and excitement. One of Johnny's biggest hits was Rub You the Right Way. It was a fun, upbeat song that made people dance. This song changed the way people saw him. Before this, most people thought of him as only a ballad singer, but now they saw that he could make exciting, fast-paced music too. Another hit from the album was My, My, My. This song was slow and romantic, just like his older music. The song had a beautiful saxophone intro by Kenny G and backup vocals from the group After 7. It became one of Johnny's signature songs. Johnny loved performing live. He said that every performance was different because the audience had different energy each time. If the audience was excited, he would feel more energy too. He liked to sing from the heart. He did not like to do the same thing every night. He wanted each performance to feel fresh and special. Rub You the Right Way was a big success. The song became very popular, and its music video got a lot of attention. Many people started to notice Johnny Gill in a new way. He felt proud of what he had achieved. When his album sold over 1 million copies, he knew that his hard work had paid off, but he did not stop there. He set a new goal for himself. He wanted to sell 2 million copies. Even though he got offers to act in movies, Johnny decided to focus on music. He wanted to keep doing what he loved most. He believed that if he stayed successful in music, other opportunities would always be there for him. He was not in a rush to do everything at once. Johnny Gill had come a long way from being a young boy singing in church. He had faced challenges, but he had also achieved great success. He never gave up on his dreams. He kept pushing himself to be better. And with each new song and each new performance, he proved that he was a true star. Gill appeared in more than 80 TV shows and movies as a singer and actor. He had a small role in the TV show Family Matters. In 2006, he sang the song You For Me in the movie Medea's Family Reunion. In 2009, he acted in the stage play A Mother's Prayer. He worked with Robin Givens, Shirley Murdoch, and Jermaine Crawford in that play. Gill was also recognized for his music. He was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards. One was with his group New Edition, and the other was for his solo work. In 1991, he won 2 Soul Train Awards. One was for Best R&B Album for his album Johnny Gill. The other was for Best R&B Single for his song My, My, My. In 2019, he won another award for his album Game Changer. Johnny Gill had a successful career in music and acting.